Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Thunderbolts Live. We're at the Courtyard by Marriott, Evansville East Side tonight. Very excited to be here, and we got kind of mood lighting. We got a little bit of the Thunderbolts After Dark kind of feel to it tonight.
An ambience, almost.
An ambience, yes. Very good, Tommy. Listen to Tommy, man. I tell you, he's been taking those lessons on how to improve your vocabulary. Very good.
I suppose after 6 full years, you get a little bit better. No biggie.
Well, we're really excited about tonight's show. We got some great guests. One of them sitting right here, Derek Sutliff. We'll get to him in a second. Just want to remind everybody, we had a big win over the weekend, and we're having military night coming up this coming Friday at the Ford Center. We're taking on Quad City. That should be a good one. And of course, veterans and active military can buy tickets for $5. That's a really good deal.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but they also can buy up to 5 tickets at that $5 price. So that is a deal you really can't beat, for sure.
Deal you can't beat.
Not even if Tommy's working the... Tommy's the best color man in the business. Anyways, even though he's play-by-play.
Exactly. Well, I got to learn how to do both.
That's right.
One-man show most of the time, so got to do both.
Do you get a split personality for doing that?
Oh, constantly.
You're talking to yourself all the time?
Constantly.
Okay. It's good to know.
Well, I'm from Florida, so...
You're always talking to yourself anyway.
Yeah, we're genuinely psycho down there.
I know, I've been on the highways. Let's get to talk a little bit about hockey now. And as I mentioned, Derek Sutliff is with us. Derek, the left winger, and kind of look like the left wing enforcer right now. How'd you get that beauty?
Actually, it wasn't a good story or anything like that, but took a shot off of my foot, just blocked a shot, and the puck just happened to come up and came straight up, hit me on the cheek, and then as soon as I felt that, I knew it was going to be leaking a little bit, so I hurried off the ice and got the trainer to check it out and look it over.
Between the game in Huntsville and the game at home, and I was mentioning this a little bit earlier before we started taping, I wish we would have had a counter on the broadcast for how many times he was hit by either blocked shots or blocked passes or just pucks flying anywhere. They just became a puck magnet this weekend.
Just pucks in general. They just didn't like me this weekend. I don't know what it was. But
I mean, if you could put a number on it, how many times? I mean, would it over or under 10?
I don't know. It's probably close to around 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Way too many. The body hurts a little bit. I can definitely feel a couple of those. So.
With a little bruising.
Yeah, I'll have to get the ice out of the freezer for
sure.
Now,
you hockey guys, you call those FTBs, right? For the boys.
For the boys, yeah.
You take it. Had to get in a little bit of lingo.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
That game itself, and we kind of jumped right into it, maybe a little quicker than we wanted to. But that game, 2-1, and that was a game you guys really needed. It's early in the season. You guys have been playing so well, and yet you just couldn't quite turn the corner. A lot of heartbreaking losses. How big a game was that for you guys?
Yeah, I think it was huge for us. I mean, obviously we lost the night before in Huntsville on their banner night there, but luckily we got the revenge on them on Saturday night, and I think everybody wanted a little bit of revenge, that's for sure. But I think we played how we were supposed to do, and and lucky enough we got the win there.
Well, one of the things, and I'll let Tommy kind of jump in on this one, but one of the things we've been talking about is the special teams.
That's right.
The penalty kill and the power play. And I think even though it didn't yield a goal, the power play looked a heck of a lot better in the last couple games. And as well, the penalty kill, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, the penalty killing, you were on it personally, the 5-on-3 in Huntsville, a full minute and 56 and a fraction seconds. Mm-hmm. On that penalty kill, 5-on-3, and I know a lot of those shots that hit you were in that sequence.
Yeah, there was a couple.
You, Brandon Lubin, and I believe Carter Shinkarp were the 3-man unit that was out for the bulk of that.
Yep.
What was that like? I mean, how intense was that? The pressure of a team like Huntsville, who was going to put everything toward the net on a 5-on-3 that early in the game after having the banner raising, their ceremony pregame. What was the pressure like in that scenario?
Yeah, anytime you get a 5-on-3 against, it's gonna be a heck of a 2 minutes or whatever it may be. But luckily my teammates kind of helped me out. We had outstanding goaltending right there, and just communication on the ice, kind of knowing what each other's gonna do, go up, down, side to side or whatever, and obviously block those shots that nobody likes to do, but we have to do. But yeah, I mean, they were going to come hard no matter what, and we knew that. We just had to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
It's funny you bring that situation up, and that was key. But in the win on Saturday, in the third period, Connor Sanvito got back-to-back penalties, like within seconds of each other, and you guys had to kill off a power play twice, 2 power plays in basically just separated by a few seconds. How tough was that in a tight hockey game?
Yeah, anytime you have to do that, I mean, obviously it's a bit difficult. You know, you're in the box for 2 minutes and then you come out and then you're back on the kill again. It's definitely a momentum swing for sure. You know, you kill it off, you get the momentum, and then obviously they get the power play again, and you got to kill it off again. You know, luckily we were able to do so, which was great. I mean, hat off to all the guys that were killing and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely it happens for sure. I mean, it's hockey; you're gonna get penalties no matter what, but you just gotta, you know, hold the rope for each other and you know, block those shots.
And it seemed like, as we were just talking about the penalty kill, the power plays, even though we can't, it seems like a power play can't buy a goal right now.
Yeah.
With the 1 power play goal in 6 games, but it seemed like this weekend it was much more improved.
Yeah, I think, you know, once we tighten it up a little bit, you know, we're moving the puck around a little bit better right now. We just gotta, you know, pop a few goals, and I think then we'll be able to, you know, get her going, and it'll be all right. But you know, the first couple are always the hardest, but after that, hopefully the floodgates will open and get some more goals there.
Well, let's go ahead.
And the goal you scored in Huntsville, 3-on-1 situation. It was you, I believe it was Jacob Smith, and I've drawn a blank on the third forward that was with you.
Awesome Plevy.
What was that?
Plevy. Awesome
Plevy. That's it. Thank you for refreshing my memory. It seemed like you just get the 3-1 out of nowhere. Walk us through that play in particular that led up to that, and then you go into the net and scoring the goal.
Sure. I started in our defensive zone. I got the puck on the half wall there, and I just kind of did a little self chip off the boards, and then you know, I looked up, and then we had a 3-on-1 there going into their zone, and just kind of looked around, had a little bit of time, dropped it back to Plevy, and Plevy passed it to Smith there. And I think actually, you know, he tried to pass it to me. I don't know if it hit off my stick or hit off their stick, but either way, it went into the net.
Counts, right?
It all counts as yeah, exactly. And yeah, I was credited for it, but it might be Smitty's. We'll have to video review that one, so we'll see.
Well, at the very least, you had certainly a big hand in the goal. So
Either way, it went in, and that's all that counts.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, and this is a PG-13 show, so. But in the locker room after the game, what was kind of the sense? What was the emotion? Kind of the monkey off the back a little bit. I mean, you had that nice win at Knoxville to start the season, and then things kind of snowballed a little bit back on you guys. What was the feeling in the locker room on Saturday night?
Oh yeah, it was definitely good to get that one. That's for sure. Obviously, the loss the night before, coming back and winning that one at home, I think everybody was a bit relieved, and you know, everybody was kind of feeling it and good vibes in the locker room. So that was definitely important to get.
Now, did you after that Friday game, when you many could argue that you guys should have won that game down in Huntsville? What was the sense there? Was there something of a carryover?
Well, you know, we controlled a lot of that game, but you know, Huntsville's a good team, and you know, on our mistakes, they're going to capitalize no matter what. We knew that, you know, we played well, but not well enough. We had to come and bring our compete level, same as the night before, and you know, and tighten it up a little bit. So I think, you know, I think we brought that Saturday night, and you know, and we got the win. So that's good.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. I've done a little bit of digging on you,
sure.
so, and I know fans always like to do this. And for everybody watching on the computer, wherever you are, I do have notes, so I'll be reading from them. Now, Derek, the first thing I want to point out is you and I nearly share a birthday. March 23rd, 1993 for this guy. March 24th, I'm not going to say the year, but it's Nixon was in the office then, so you can figure that out. You're from Lost Wages, Nevada. What's that like?
Yeah. Well, technically I wasn't born there originally. No. I was born in Fargo, North Dakota.
That's quite a move, by the way. Fargo, North Dakota to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, but the majority of the family lived in Vegas, and we shipped out there when I was young, so just call it home now. Everybody lives out there, and it sounds a lot cooler than Fargo, so that's for sure.
Now, what is your reaction? One of the popular nicknames for Evansville is E-Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
What is your reaction to that?
You know, I don't. You got to take that with a grain of salt a little bit. I don't know if it compares really to the real Vegas, but you know, it's okay. We'll let them have it.
We have one casino.
That's true. Yeah, so and I was there with my grandma, so shout out to grandma there. But yeah, no, it's a nice casino. It's it's got everything you need.
It's not the circus though. I mean,
Yeah, no.
we got to work on getting those trapeze artists in there.
Yeah, a little Cirque du Soleil or something.
Yeah. But
All we gotta do is take the roof off the Ford Center for a game, and then we have like outdoor Caesar's Palace. An outdoor
my.
game.
Yeah.
Like an anything.
I don't think Scott Shenicky, our beloved boss over there, will
Hey,
go
I
for
can
that.
dream, can
Yeah, absolutely. But it's do you have any favorite, like when you're out in Vegas, when you're back home, are there any favorite haunts that you like to check out? Or it's funny because there's two kinds of Vegas. I think I've met people from there before. I've worked in television, so you know people. And when it comes to Las Vegas, there's two Vegases. There's the people who come to play, gamble, and whatever, and then the people that live there, and never the twain shall meet. Is that actually true?
Yeah, there's definitely two sides of it. I personally live about 30 minutes from the Strip, so it's like any other city. But you know, if you want to go downtown, you can see all sorts of characters down there. And
So you people watch.
yeah, people watching is the best on the Strip, that's for sure. But there's also two different strips. I mean, you got the main strip
Right.
with the flashing lights and strollers and grandparents and all the other sorts. But Fremont Street is kind of a younger generation down there, and that's kind of where if somebody's in town or if it's a get-together, a birthday or something like that, a lot of locals will go downtown on Fremont Street. So
But that's the weird part, though, is that Fremont Street is actually old Vegas.
Yep, correct.
Right? Because that's where the Mint is and all those the Golden Nugget.
Oh, yeah.
And the strip that you referred to that has Caesars, that used to be called the New Strip.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, so-
Yep.
See, my extent of experience in Vegas is I have a keychain from the Luxor Hotel that my parents went to one time.
They didn't-
That's all I got.
Did it say all I got was this lousy keychain?
No, but mine
My
as well
parents
have.
went to Vegas.
Hey, lit up though, because it's like shaped like a pyramid, so I had like the light on the top to press the button. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, going back to hockey, and it ties in with Las Vegas.
Yep.
How big a fan you were of the Wranglers back when they were in the ECHL, and do you consider yourself a Vegas Golden Knights fan in the modern day?
Yeah, definitely a Knights fan. I feel like I have to be now. But going back to the Wranglers, yeah, I had some friends and coaches who used to play for them, so it's always exciting to see hockey in Vegas and growing up and watching them, going to the games, and then in minor hockey, some of those guys would come out to our practices and whatnot. So it was pretty exciting to see those guys, and then obviously the Knights are a new franchise there, and it's awesome for the community and the hockey community. It's growing tremendously out there in Vegas. I'm lucky enough to practice with those guys over the summer, and a lot of those guys are great guys. They're great players, but they're also great people, and it's huge for the community, and it's awesome for the sport.
This is going to be part of the This Is Your Life with Ralph Edwards part of it, where we're going to go through a little bit of your history for people who don't know. We're going to start with your time with the North American Hockey League, is right? NAHL, when you were with the Fresno Monsters back in 2010, and then you went up and played in the British Columbia Hockey League, right?
Yep.
Correct? And that was the Langley Rivermen. You were there for 2 years.
2 years, yep.
And then St. Scholastica
Yep.
College, and that is about as far away from Las Vegas as you can get and still be in the continental United States. You want to tell everybody where that is?
Duluth, Minnesota. That's up there right by Lake Superior. I think one winter it got down to -40 with the wind chill, so it was pretty chilly up there.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's right up there by International Falls.
Yep.
And then now, this isn't your first rodeo in the pros, not by a long shot. You've been in the pros now. This is your fourth season, correct?
Third.
Third? Well, this is your fourth. You've played three seasons. This is your fourth.
Yeah, exactly.
See how
Yeah.
had to work on the math there.
Yeah.
You started off with the Mississippi River Kings. Is that accurate?
Yep, I went down there after my senior year of college. We got knocked out of playoffs, and I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to go down there, finish out their season, and then the playoff run down there.
And then you were there for 2 years, right? Correct? 2 seasons?
Yep.
Correct? And then you went to Macon?
So I did that little stint there, and then my first official pro season, I started the year off there at the beginning of the season, and then I got called up to Greenville.
Oh, the Swamp Rabbits.
Yep,
Yeah.
Swamp
What is
Rabbits.
a Swamp Rabbit? I don't know if anybody here knows, but I remember them because they used to come here when we were the Icemen.
Yep.
What are the Swamp Rabbits?
I think it's just a
A rabbit that lives in a swamp?
Yeah, an enlarged rabbit that lives in the swamp, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, but
I get a kick out of the fact that it's a hockey stick made out of a carrot.
Yeah.
Really? Is that
It's in the
true?
logo.
Yeah, yeah,
is
the
that
logo.
true?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty creative.
That'd be some pretty
'cause they
cool.
used to be the Road
Did you get any
Warriors.
swag? Oh, they were. That's right. They were the Road Warriors. You're
They
right.
changed a few years ago.
Yeah, that's right. But did you get any swag there? Did you get to keep anything?
Yeah, I got to keep a couple shirts and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
That's all right.
You still
Hats.
keep, you have that logo still. You have a little
Yep,
bit of
still
swag
got the
from
logo,
there. And then from there you end up the next season in Macon.
Yep. So again, with that season, was in Greenville for about half the year. Towards the end of playoffs, I went back to Mississippi and finished out that year. And then following that season, the Rivermen folded. So I was looking for a spot to play, kind of weighed my options, and then last season I went to Macon and was there the entirety of the whole season. So.
Well, now, Tommy, why don't you can speak to it a little more than I can because you've been to Macon on more than one occasion.
Yes, I have.
What is that scene like? I'm going to ask him in a second, but what's your take on Macon? Because you love it, and yet at the same time, not so much.
Well, what I love about Macon is they have some incredible post-game meal. The Booster Club in Macon, they do a fantastic job. They cook, and Derek will speak to it.
I was
I'm
going to say
sure,
Derek can, right?
is they have like a 50-foot long table full of food, and that's not even counting the dessert section they have.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a broadcaster, so I love my food. Let's be real about
Who doesn't? Free eats is what we live
Absolutely.
on.
They don't cook like we had actually a guy from Manitoba a couple years ago, and of course I was partly a Thrashers fan while they were around, and of course being from Manitoba, he's a Winnipeg fan, and so I remember after a game in Macon, I, gave him a little shove of the elbow, poke and say, hey, question for you. I bet they don't cook like this up in Winnipeg.
Now, what was your take on living in, playing in Macon? Because they have an interesting arena as well. It's one of the older arenas in the league.
Yeah, it's a great facility. I mean, we get treated pretty well down there, and like you said, the food is fantastic after the games. I think everybody kind of looks forward to that. We got goodie bags for each road trip, so we were treated pretty well down there. It was a good group of guys, and it was a good experience.
Well, just kind of wrap this up and talk a little bit about what got you here to Evansville, because obviously you've bounced around in your pro career a little bit. How did you end up here?
I have family close by, so it's always good to see family come to the games and whatnot. Currently in EMT class right now, so hopefully be able to volunteer at one of the fire departments, if not a couple different ones here. But I was able to talk to Coach Best too, and about coming here. So I think the culture is going to be changing here, and things are moving upward, and I want to be a part of that process, and turn the page obviously from last season, but hopefully grow the program and have a heck of a season this year.
It certainly seems from what we've seen so far and the leadership that you and a lot of the new guys have that's exactly what we're seeing. Did you have any more questions, or can we turn it over to the crowd now? Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Sutliff?
Your last question, Rob.
Oh, see, I'm bad at that. I'll steal your questions anytime. Telepathy here. But if nobody else has any questions, Derek, I'll thank you for coming by. And of course, you'll be back there Friday night over at the arena for Quad City on Military Night. So Thanks again.
Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to have a little bit of an intermission here because we're going to switch out our microphones and what have you. So stay tuned if you're watching on the computer, and you can watch this wonderful spot we did with Pride and Dr. Rang.
Pride, what's wrong, buddy? Is it your tooth again? Pride, I have to tell you, it's time to go to the dentist.
What's going on?
It's the tooth again.
Pride, I told you go to Dr. Rang. Yes.
can do something about that bread.
Hello, Pride. How are you today? What brings you in? Oh no, you broke a tooth? Well, Dr. Rang will get you fixed up in a jiffy.
All right, Pride. I think we can get you all fixed up pretty quickly. Condenser. Forceps. All right, Pride, you're all set.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Thunderbolts Live. We're once again here at the Courtyard by Marriott, Evansville East. It's a wonderful facility, and you'll also get some great mood lighting. It's Monday night. If you're watching, this is on tape delay, but it's Monday night, and they have the Monday Night Football party that they're getting ready to gear up for. Got the Giants and Cowboys tonight, and this will be on tape delay, but any predictions? Are you an NFL guy at all?
No, I'm not much of a
Are
football.
you going to say Saskatchewan Roughriders or something? You're going to take the Ottawa Red Blacks?
No, I'm not much of a CFL guy. Either, to be honest. No.
How about you, Tommy? You could care less.
I'm not really much of a football guy. Pretty much, I'm a one-trick pony. It's just hockey. That's it. Hockey's it. I wasn't into sports at all until I hit middle school. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
My
suddenly-
parents were big NASCAR folks at the time. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
And I tried getting into it, but it's just I couldn't.
6:35 Monday night. The show turns into True Confessions with Tommy Pecoraro. No, I appreciate it. Well, let's talk a little bit. I'm going to take. By the way, I hate to say it. I'm going to take the Cowboys here, but I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Steelers fan, so.
Someone's happy, yeah.
All right. Hayden, first of all, let's talk a little bit about just what are you seeing from this team right now? Because obviously you got off to that surprise start, nice big win down in Knoxville, then a little bit of a slump to say the very least, and then boom, Friday night you take the two-time defending champions right to the edge, and then you push them over the edge Saturday night.
I mean, I think, we're a very young team. I mean, myself included. Like, we got a lot of first-year pros.
Yeah.
Day by day, be trying to become better pros. But we have all the tools. We definitely do. We have great coaching staff, great facilities. We have all the talent. Just a matter of time to put it together. Working as one unit. I mean, it's tough. Every guy's come from a different organization, different school, has been taught different things. So we all kind of see the things a little differently right now. But as we've seen as the games, every game we seem to be building together more and more, and we're starting to buy into the systems. And the minute we buy into the systems and all pull the rope the same way, I think we're going to be, a tough team to beat.
I'll let you jump in just a second, but just to follow up, Hayden, it was such an odd kind of contrast. You have Huntsville, very experienced squad, two-time defending champs, 13 returning players, and then, as you described it, a young team, not completely inexperienced, but not experienced playing together. Such a contrast, and yet you guys played your two best games of the season, arguably.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you play up to what you're playing against, and I think we're a competitive team. As a team and individually, we all want to win every night, and just the hype of that competition, knowing what we're up against, I think we've just started to elevate our game that much more, and we just have to. There's no excuses now. We know what we have, we know what we're capable of, so we have to bring that effort every single day in practice, and that's going to translate to our season.
Tommy?
And as it certainly seemed like now we ended the 4-game slump and gotten back in the winter side, do you think this is the start of something big coming after this game?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, the team morale itself just after that win, big part of the game is mental, and big part of that is confidence. If we're confident in each other, confident in the guy beside us, we all believe in the system, believe in each other. I think we're going to go on the upswing.
It's funny you mention that, because we talked about how the power play and penalty kill has been steadily improving, and I think it took major steps forward over the weekend. But how hard is that? And maybe you can speak to this. How hard is it to get your power play and penalty kill going? It seems it seems like it's a tougher part of the game than when it's 5-on-5 on both the special teams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, special teams can win and lose you games. I mean, it's hockey. You're going to take penalties. You try to limit the ones you don't need to take, but it's going to happen, and you have to be prepared all the time. I mean, it's definitely one of the things that needs to be worked on the most. One of the things that you have to pay more attention to, because like I said, there's so many new faces, so many new guys trying to play together, that a lot of that special teams is about being synchronized, about knowing where each other are, being on the same page at all times. But I think, as the games and as the weeks we've been working on in practice, it's only getting better, and it's going to continue to get better and help us win games.
Let's talk a little bit about your background now. First of all, let me ask you this. What got you here to Evansville? We'll talk about your backstory here in a second, but I know pretty much everybody always asks, how do guys end up in Evansville? They ask me even, but that's another story.
Well, actually, in the summertime, I signed a contract with Cincinnati in the East Coast League, and Jeff contacted me kind of before doing that, and told me, basically if things don't work out, we'd love to have you, and his professionalism and the way he wanted to change the culture around here, something that really drew me to this place, a spot where you come and work as a team and be successful and help build a hopefully winning program. And that's, I'm always up for a challenge, and I was looking forward to coming to play for a guy like that.
It's funny, Tommy, and I don't think it's any secret that after last season it was a little tough to recruit guys to come here, and I think it really speaks to Coach Bess's ability as a recruiter to get you guys, and you can kind of speak to that for sure. What was the recruiting sell like? Was it a hard sell, soft sell? How did that go?
No, he was very honest with you, and that's something that sometimes in this in the hockey business you don't get every day. You don't get someone who's going to tell you straight up, this is what it's going to be like, and this is where I see you, and this is the opportunity I have for you, and just to have those straight, honest conversations all the time about moving forward, what's going to be the process here, what he's looking to build, what type of team he's going to have. And like I said, that honesty is something that goes a long way. And if you trust your coach, good things can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, one of the biggest assets, it's no secret that the Thunderbolts have compared to most of minor league hockey markets, definitely in single A and even in double A, is the facility, the Ford Center. How big of a factor was that in your decision to come to Evansville?
Well, it was definitely a part for sure. Jeff was in contact with me, sending me recruiting videos and pictures of the even the apartments and the rink, and it's state of the art. It's everything you asked for. So it's definitely nice to come and play in a nice facility every day and call it home.
Let's talk a little bit now. I promised we were going to get to some of these stops along your way. Now, you're from Kingston, Ontario. Now, when I asked Derek where he's from Las Vegas. Everybody can kind of visualize that. But Kingston, Ontario, I'm not sure I can envision that. I don't know if anybody else knows about Kingston. What is Kingston, Ontario like?
Well, Kingston's about halfway between Ottawa and Toronto. We have most of the land's on Lake Ontario. So it's it's very nice city. It's kind of similar to this, actually. It's around about the same population.
Really?
Yeah. It's more of a retirement center way, but there's also Queen's University and another college, St. Lawrence College there as well. So yeah, it's a good place to call home.
And I believe it's also the birthplace of Don Cherry.
That's
Don Cherry, really?
Also true, yeah.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Of course, I know Don Cherry more for his wild outfits and wilder commentary on the CBC, but yeah, he's a national treasure, right?
Yeah,
although some would like to bury that treasure.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed emotions about that.
Yeah. What is it like? By the way, it's funny, when I went to the University of Maine, we had satellite TV, and that was my first experience with Hockey Night in Canada. Hockey Night in Canada, does everything stop? Does the whole country just stop for Hockey Night in Canada on the CBC?
Yeah, pretty well. It doesn't matter if your buddies are sitting around watching the game or you're at a restaurant. It seems like the volume goes up wherever you are, and everyone's listening as much as they can to what Don has to say.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about your career thus far. We'll start with the Brockville Braves. Now, what is the CCHL? What does that stand for?
I honestly couldn't even tell you.
You played in the league for 3 years?
Yeah. I think Canadian Central Hockey League.
Canadian Central Hockey League.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And what teams now? What's Brockville like?
Brockville is.
Don't say it's just like Evansville.
No, it's a smaller community, but it was a great place to play. I mean, the Friday nights, there's not much else going on there than the Brockville Braves playing hockey. So, you get treated very well around there, and had a very good fan base and great organization. And my time when I was there, the Gill family, so Todd Gill was the owner of the team.
Oh yeah, yep.
So a lot of experience there to help you out along the way, and they understood the game and what it was like, and everyone around the community bought into that, and it was a great place to play.
Put up a lot of numbers while you were there too. I looked 33 goals, 51 assists. So you were quite the scoring dynamo. Would that count as scoring dynamo in that league?
That's a pretty high scoring league. I mean, it was definitely one of my more successful years as for points for sure.
Okay. Carleton University after that, right?
Yep.
And that is the OUAA?
Yeah, that's our division. It's U Sports.
Oh, okay.
It's a Canadian league.
You were there for 5 seasons? That
5
seems
years.
like a long time. 5 years?
Yeah, in the Canadian University, you get 5 years eligibility, which is different from the NCAA, so I took full advantage of that.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
So after that, that's when Cincinnati approached you?
Yeah, it was fall in the summer after my graduating year.
Oh, okay. All right. How would you describe yourself as a player?
As a player, as a two-way centerman. I mean, I'm the most likely defensive. I'm the guy who, you want out there if you're up a goal. Maybe not when you're down one, when you're up a goal. I focus on all the little things defensively. I like to win face-offs, block shots, be very good on the PK. I really pride myself on being good defensively and, get under other teams' top lines, get under their skin a little bit. Try to be an agitator and do all the little things that make a difference and give other people room and do whatever it takes to win.
Is that what inspired you? Now no one's seen this yet, but I want people to see this. You have a great GIF that we shot, and we haven't had a chance to show it yet, but I want you to score a goal so we can. But is that what inspired your GIF? He went with Dr. Hook from Slapshot, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. What inspired you? Is that what inspired you to do that?
That kind of definitely crossed my mind when I was thinking of something. I was just trying to set something kind of original and something different, but.
I
actually met Dr. Hook McCracken.
Oh, really?
The character that played him, he was in Port Huron.
Oh, yeah?
Appearance
No
back
kidding.
when I was in the FHL, and he was out at Port Huron at a game, so we all got to meet him, came to the locker room, and took pictures with everybody.
He's one rough-looking character. Is he still pretty rough-looking?
Oh, yeah.
I imagine. I was going to say, I don't think it got any better.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many people have seen Slapshot out here, by the way? Slapshot? Friends? No? Now, you've seen it, but she hasn't, huh? No? You can't bring yourself to watch it? Oh, I see. You're just riding along sidecar? I understand.
And if anyone decides to watch it out there, viewer discretion advised. Let me stress that very quickly.
It is a great movie, though. Is that your favorite hockey movie? I always ask that. I get everything from Mighty Ducks. This guy says Young Bloods sometimes. You brought it up at least
I
in the
can't
other
remember the
room.
reference now, what it was for.
I forget too, but something about fighting.
It was like fighting his father or something.
Yeah. You mentioned the movie Young Bloods, which is a really forgettable mid to late 80s hockey movie with Rob Lowe. No one will believe Rob Lowe's a hockey player. But, huh? Oh, Goon? That's your favorite? Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Now, Goon's not your favorite, though.
No, actually, I'd have to say the Mighty Ducks movies growing up.
I'm telling you, people go for that Mighty Ducks. There are more guys saying Mighty Ducks than Slapshot. I don't know if that's an
They
age
got me hooked on. Well, Paul Correa was always my favorite player, and then watching the Mighty Ducks movies, I've always been, since then, an Anaheim fan.
And I went to school with Paul Correa. That's my only claim to fame, apparently. But
I do need to correct something, though. Youngblood was not my favorite hockey movie. It was just a reference. I want to make that clear.
All right, what was you? Okay, so now you have to tell us what it is.
Definitely Slapshot.
Definitely Slapshot.
I lived it.
Yeah, you really did. You lived it in more ways than one, and I don't know if probably everybody knows that story.
Need to detail about it, but
not too detailed, but
certainly some scenes of the movie.
The puck to the head to the organ.
Like the organist.
Who was the organist? He actually did take a puck to the head up in the booth.
Yeah, up in the press box.
And you did wear like you wore
helmet the next day.
Bucket the next day.
Absolutely. So. And I had a question going back to the season so far for you. In Huntsville, Game 5 for you, we thought you had scored the goal at first, but it still turns out you got a point, at the very least, out of it. How big was it to get that first professional point out of the way?
Well, I mean, for me personally, as long as the team's having success, that's how I measure my own personal success. If we're winning games, that's all that matters to me. I mean, it's definitely, a little weight off the shoulders, kind of waiting for that first one. But I don't expect to put up huge numbers. I know that's not part of my role. Like I said earlier, I just do the other things, other little things, and if I can contribute offensively, then I'm more than happy to. But if I have to do the other little things, block shots, win faceoffs to help the team win, then I'm willing to do that every night.
And that's one thing I've noticed from the press box is just the ability to win faceoffs is obviously 50-50 for the most time for the past couple of years in Evansville, but you've actually won a good chunk of your faceoffs in the game so far. And do you see yourself improving as the games go along, since you're so early in your professional career and how you've translated from juniors in college to pro?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an art of its own. It's just learning. You learn at every level. You learn different little tricks. Every linesman's different. You learn what you can get away with, what you can't get away with. You learn some different tricks from older players as well. That only there's more tools in the toolbox for when you need to win an important draw. So yeah, I hope to continue to keep working on it in practice and keep improving.
You talk about the keys, little things you learn and whatever. Now, I was interested in this. Saturday night against Huntsville, we had kind of a dust up at the net. Did Connor Sanvito kind of break hockey's unwritten rule? After the whistle blows, you don't take a shot at the net? Was that really what we were seeing there?
To be honest, I didn't really see it. I didn't really see it. I just seen.
But is that an unwritten rule? Is that an unwritten rule that after the whistle blows, you don't take a shot at the net?
Yeah, normally. Yeah. I mean, if someone was going to do that to our goalie, I'd probably be the first one in there as well. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, the game happens quick, and sometimes you don't even hear the whistle, and it happens, and. That's why
I think Connor heard the whistle.
Yeah, he might have, yeah.
I can't jump to conclusions. It was close based on what I saw from press. It was close.
But I was just interested because there's so many. We know about the unwritten rules about baseball. We know about some of the unwritten rules about hockey. I don't know if basketball really has any unwritten rules, but hockey has some all their own. What are some of them if you think about it? Maybe. I mean, that's obviously one of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a big thing about staying away from the goalie. You don't want anyone near your goalie. But just there's always little things that happen in the game, and it's you're always there to stick up for your teammates no matter what, and that's kind of the bottom line. No matter what happens, if your teammate did something right or wrong, he's your teammate, and you're going to go to battle for him no matter what happens.
That seems like part of the team building experience is the fact that it seems like as time goes by and this team starts to gel and solidify and all those other cliches we love to use in sports, it seems like those are the kind of team building things that, like you cease being 19 guys with 19 different backgrounds and you start really becoming the Evansville Thunderbolts. You think that's really happening right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at the guy beside you and he's going to run through a wall for you and you're going to do the same for him, I mean, if every single guy on that team has that same mentality, it doesn't matter what the other team throws at you, you're going to be coming at them as one unit, as a Thunderbolts, not individually. And I mean, it's going to be tough to beat and tough to compete against a team that has that mentality.
And it's really starting to come, you really get that sense. I was thinking the other day, I was looking over some video of, we did that shoot over at Edge Body Boot Camp, and it was one of the first times you went over there, and that guy kind of put you through your paces a little bit. Blake Evans, the owner/lead trainer. What was that like? I talked to a few of you guys after, and they said that was a lot of guys said that was a pretty darn hard workout. They work you hard over there, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and it's it's not just the physical, the grind of it. It's also the mental grind. Like I said, hockey is also a very mental sport, and you have to be able to push your limits all the time. When you think you're tired, you think you've had enough, and you have to get out there and. Last few minutes of the game, it's very important. You have to mentally be strong to keep pushing yourself and also be able to look at the guy beside you and push him as well. And I think doing those team workouts is huge for guys individually, but also as a team where we're all in it together. We see a guy beside you slacking off, you're gonna tell him to pick it up. See a guy working hard, you're gonna tell him he's doing a good job. And that's the type of things that makes a team successful.
Those last 3 minutes against Huntsville, that certainly felt like you guys were kind of pretty much going on empty, and yet at the same, because you had to kill off those back-to-back penalties earlier that Connor ended up in the penalty box a couple times back-to-back. You guys were running on empty, but yet at the same time, it seemed like you guys really went, you guys really put the pedal to the metal towards the end there. Were you guys kind of running on fumes a little bit?
Yeah, definitely near the end of the game. Doesn't matter, how good a shape you are. You're definitely starting to get tired, but at the same time, so were they. So, it's like I said, it's all mental. When you think you have nothing left, there's always something more. And I think just our drive to win was there. Our compete level was there. It didn't matter how tired we were. Like, we wanted that win, and we were going to do whatever it takes to get that win, and we did.
That actually brings me to an interesting stat I've seen on the broadcasts for almost all of the 4 games that were lost in a row. There were some struggles in the first couple periods, but the third periods that the Thunderbolts outshot the opponent and actually seemed to take it to the opponent in those last 20 minutes. Does it seem like the team we have right now was out conditioning the other team, it seems, at times, especially as the game goes along?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think on that stretch there, I think we weren't really starting on time. Like, mentally, it took us a couple periods to get going, to get into the flow of game, where we have to bring that third period, the first puck drop. We have to be mentally prepared and ready to go and bring that effort from the first shift all the way through the game, and not wait till the third period to kick it into drive.
I think that's something that Coach actually mentioned after the Birmingham game, our home opener. You guys had just beaten Knoxville, and he said to me after the loss to Birmingham, he said, I don't know, he said it's always tough playing at home, but that the guys just didn't kick it into gear in that first period. We were kind of caught flat-footed. You think is that what you're kind of referring to?
Yeah, exactly. It's just about, individually as a team, mentally be ready to go from the puck drop. I mean, you can't take a shift off. It's every single shift, and it's got to start right from the very start of the game. You start taking it to the team from the first puck drop and put them on their heels and be the storm, don't weather their storm. And I think we have the team to do that, and if we continue to keep building together and keep working on those things, then we're gonna come out flying off the start.
Well, before I say speaking of the storm, because that would dovetail nicely towards wrapping this up, anybody have any questions out here in the audience? Not one. You do. Okay, go ahead.
What did you think of Education Day?
Hello. Good question. Thank you.
That was a new and great experience for me. I've through my junior career and university career, I never had experience at Education Day like that, and it was awesome. Hockey, we've all done it growing up, having fun, being those kids in the stands, to look over, on the Jumbotron and see them dancing around. It kind of brings you back, humbles you a bit, brings you back to when you were a kid watching games, and, brings that love for the game back. I'm still playing, and I'm doing something I love, and also kids are enjoying it at the same time. So it was great, very, very great experience.
Anybody else? You're right. It was actually that was a phenomenal day. Such a good crowd, such a great crowd of kids, and of course we had some of our loyal fans there as well. But it was great to see the kids, and the whole point is to make hockey fans, in the future, and that's a good way to do it. Build the fan base. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Thunderbolts Live. I'd like to thank both Derek Sutliff as well as Hayden Holton for coming out tonight. And, of course, want to mention real quickly some of the things we have coming up here. Of course, we have Quad City coming to town for Military Night, as I mentioned earlier. That's going to be $5 tickets for any veteran or active member of the military, as well as $5 tickets for any family member or friend of said. So that should cover just about everybody. I think everybody probably knows somebody in the military. And of course, Saturday night we've got Quad City on the road. You'll be making that trip out there to.
That's right.
Now they play in Moline, is that right?
That's right, in Moline, Illinois.
Well, it's a good place.
Slayer Center.
Good place to be from. But anyways, we will have the watch party over at Bar Louie Saturday night, and yours truly will be the host on that one. So you're going to want to stop by Bar Louie. It should be a raucous time, and hopefully at that point we're talking about a 3-game winning streak, right?
Yeah, that certainly would be the case.
See,
The
you
way
see how I tripped him up
so-
with that? He had to think about the numbers there.
I
but,
did.
But hopefully we're talking about a 3-game winning streak. For everybody who had a hand in this or showed up or whatever, I'd like to thank every one of them for coming out for Thunderbolts Live. And of course, we will be back with the Coaches Show next week. We will be at, we haven't been there yet, Kevin's Backstage right there on the the Madhouse on Main Street. We're looking forward to that as well. So we will see you next week, and thanks again for tuning in.